I refuse to partake within Christmas seasons. I also refuse to accept gifts from those that celebrate Christmas. Now, don't even think for 1 minute that your guilting tactics, along with shaming tactics, are actually, in fact, going to make me cave into giving you what you want. This goes to family included. If you're offended at me for turning my back upon what I know to be a pagan tradition that is linked to idolatry, then that is your problem, not mine. And I don't care, once again, who you are, whether or not you get offended, or you're perfectly okay with this message. Because there's going to be a small percentage of people out there that are okay in hearing this message. But even then, I'm still questioning, their presence as we speak. I mean, how do I know that they're not actually, in fact, trying to worm their way into my life and sneak up spiritually and psychologically, only to attack me? See, I even know how these fake nice and fake, good people operate in the shadows as well, and I'm not buying it. So, this goes to any of you that are trying to basically woo me into the lie of celebrating Christmas. I'm now putting my foot down, and I am saying, no, not a chance in hell. I spit on the Christmas season for the festive pagan tradition that it is. It causes nothing but division and strife even amongst the children that are young and naive to actually, in fact, think and live for themselves. And it also teaches parents to lie to the kids in regards to gifts, fictional characters, unbiblical characters. And then these parents have to live within the guilt, shame, remorse, and only God knows what else, as a form of punishment for lying to their kids. I should know what I'm talking about. I've lived, 36 years of my life being brought up once upon a time as a young and spiritually and psychologically underdeveloped child, thus ultimately rendering me sweet and innocent in God's eyes, right? And I so happen to be brought up by the devil at a certain age, and it's fallen. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm not ashamed to admit, the type of family I have included, if it means that it helps other people from basically living and thinking for themselves into making their own choices and decisions in life. So, to those of you that basically fear the idea of speaking up in regards to should I celebrate Christmas or should I not celebrate it, my advice onto those of you involved, you have free will to make your own choices and decisions. Don't allow the voice of this world to make the choices along with decisions for you. Because I'm telling you now, at the end of the day, whether you choose to celebrate it or whether you choose not to, either way you look at it, it's still going to be used against you regardless. If you chose not to celebrate it, like the vast majority of the morons along with fools out there today, then it's going to be used against you. Not necessarily as a crime, rather as a blessing and a reward later on down the line when you least expect it. Both spiritually and psychologically, that is, in the long run. But even if you chose to celebrate it and give in to the pressures of this world in regards to receiving gifts, this, that, and the other, then you will be punished according to the way that it was dished in the first place. Oh, I'm telling you now. I'm not even laughing, joking, or making a mockery. You will be punished greatly. And as a form of punishment for disobeying your own free wills, God's going to pass you over to the same exact false gods along with idols that you worship to torment you. And each and every one of you are going to be living within your own very torment as a form of punishment and consequence. Don't think for 1 minute that you crawling back is going to convince me to bail you out of your own mess, when I have tried warning people time and time and time again. If you're going to live a young and naive life by thinking that your life is for you to live however way you want, right? Without thinking of the punishments and consequences to your actions once it's all said and done. It's your problem. It's your problems to fix, not mine. I've got my own problems to be dealing with. I've got my own struggles along with battles to be dealing with. And I don't want anybody else's. You can laugh, joke, and make a mockery now and act all excessively happy and joyous, thinking you're getting away with your own bullshit by projecting, as well as bleeding on innocent people all you want at the end of the day. Me, personally, I can heal from the damage that's caused by other people. These fools, on the other hand, they never can and they never will. They will forever live within their own torment once that high that they currently think they have now is stripped away from them. And they come crashing down, realizing the error of their ways. It's a given fact. I see it time and time again. So, to anyone, like I said, wanting my input along with advice in regards to whether or not you should and you shouldn't celebrate Christmas, you have free will. I'm not going to interfere with it. That's entirely your call to make. It's entirely your choice. I choose not to, personally, because I know the spiritual and psychological warfare along with damage that it can cause. So I personally refuse to celebrate it. I refuse to accept gifts from people as well that are celebrating it. And if you act all salty as well as hateful towards my presence for doing so, that's your problem and not mine. So don't even project it onto me, because I will only deflect it back with added interest. And there we have it, people. Free will. It is what it is. But when you make the choice in celebrating something that you know deep down within your own heart and your own conscience is an abomination, for that matter, a sin, and you choose to go through with it anyway, you're a coward. You're weak. You don't even have a set of gonads. You don't even have a spine to support this body frame of yours. You have nothing. You're also unable to live and think for yourselves. I should know, because these same fools always come crawling back for my advice later on down the line. Which, 9 times out of 10, falls on deaf ears anyway. Because it's the same fools out there that deny, as well as violate my free will to make my own choices and decisions, but yet when I still make them anyway, I'm punished for it. But it's perfectly okay for these fools to live out theirs. And how these fools don't even realize what yet is to await spiritual and psychological death, destruction. That's what happens when you live like a bunch of hypocrites, scumbags, cowards, thinking that you can live your lives and your free wills out perfectly fine, and then try to interfere as well as violate ours and prevent us from living out ours. The world doesn't work that way. and how it's going to crush each and every one of you that live this delusion in the first place. It's a given fact. You best believe God's going to make each and every one of you to pay out all of the damage that you've caused, and he's also going to make each and every one of you pay out with added interest. It's a given fact, and even then, I'm not going to take anything you have to offer. Counterfeits? Nah. Breadcrumbs? Nah. I choose the gospel all day, every day, over the phony counterfeits along with breadcrumbs people think they have to offer. These fools, on the other hand, like I said, they can smile now and enjoy the highs while it lasts. Because that high is soon going to basically wear off from them. They're going to then basically experience the worst crash ever known to man and woman, spiritually and psychologically, that is, for doing what they did to me in the first place. And they're going to live within their own regret, their own shame, their own torment, their own depression, their own sadness, despair, and only God knows what other spiritual attachments are latched onto them. And let this be a life lesson, people, that you're not above God's throne, and you're not above Christ's throne either. You're nothing more than a bunch of narcissistic, delusional fools that think the world revolves around you. And that's going to change. You can make a mockery of the second coming of Christ all you want. I know there's a second coming of Christ. It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. I know it's going to happen. And those of you that did me dirty this entire time, from the moment I was brought and raised into the world, as a baby, to then basically reach an age of accountability and responsibility for my own choices and decisions, you're going to get left behind. Within your own torments, your own sorrows, and only God knows what else. I ain't bailing each and every one of you out. You chose to live this high and almighty life, thinking that you could live out your free wills, like I said, but yet deny and violate ours. The world doesn't work in your favor like that. And that delusion that you think you have, that power that you also think you have, it's going to get stripped away from you sooner or later. And you're going to be left spiritually and psychologically naked, just like Adam and Eve. Before their fall upon the earth, as we speak. That's your punishment, that is your consequence. And don't think for 1 minute that you're ever going to get this golden ticket back. Because you chose to, like I say, disrespect and disgrace my very presence time and time again. You even tried to get inside my head and sway me from my own faith. Because you're a bunch of sadists. The difference between me and each and every one of you get highs from doing what you do. You get excessive laughter along with joy from doing what you do. I don't. I have to pick up the pieces and I have to heal from the damage time and time again. But don't worry, like I said, enjoy that high. Enjoy it. Because sooner or later that high is going to get stripped away from you, and you're going to be left with absolutely nothing other than the same pain and the same suffering even that you tried putting me through time and time again. That is your punishment, that is your consequence. And you don't want to know something, right? You want to know something. I'm not going to bail you out once it's all said and done. I'm going to leave you within your own very torment as a form of punishment and consequence. So there's no amount of crawling back, crying, begging and pleading onto me that is going to convince me otherwise. Once I've made my choice, I have made my choice. There is no going back. Let this be a life lesson. And quit thinking that you can live out your free wills whilst trying to violate and deny us the chance to live ours. Because like I said, sooner or later, Your own lies, along with deceit, are going to come catching up to you. The weight upon, or better yet, the weight even of this world is going to also sit on your shoulders like it once did with me. And each and every one of you are going to be left absolutely crushed with nothing to show for all of these pathetic, immature, childish games. It's a given fact. Absolutely nothing. I'm shaking my head because, like I said, I don't even recognise anybody. I don't even understand the world that we live in. That is how far gone and badly damaged a lot of people are. And I'm not partaking in that, thank you very much. I would rather partake within the gospel. You know, the very same book that people laugh, joke, make a mockery of, as well as scoff at, thinking that it's nothing more than a book of fairy tales. Yeah, it's the same book of fairy tales, like I said, that saved my soul, along with conscience, more times than I could begin to count. The same book of fairy tales that actually, in fact, helped heal me from any damage that this world's caused upon me. It's not helped each and every one of you, though, has it? That decided to make a mockery, along with joke, out of God, along with his very presence. Keep laughing. Keep acting excessively happy and joyous from the dirty deeds that you do. Also, enjoy that high, like I said, once it lasts, because it's not going to last forever. Like I said, it's going to be stripped away from you, and you're going to experience even, might I add, a crash of only God knows what in the long run. Depression, sadness, despair, guilt, shame, remorse, and only God knows what else. Like I said, that is your punishment and consequence. And why are you experiencing these in the first place? Because you chose to grieve the Holy Spirit's presence. Each and every one of you chose to grieve the Holy Spirit's presence. I didn't tell each and every one of you to treat me the way that you did. You chose to treat me the way that you did. Now you have to live with the punishments and consequences to your actions, while I get to repair from the damage that you caused, as well as heal and enjoy my own company, regardless to what hand I'm pretty much dealt in life. It's a given fact. You fools, you don't have that same gift and ability nor privilege, because you live double-minded, hypocritical, backstabbing, two-faced lives, whilst proclaiming to know God and Christ. On the other hand, who are you fooling? Because it's not me, his servant. It's most definitely not God, nor is it Christ sat upon the right-hand side. They're looking down upon each and every one of you, shaking their head in disbelief. Who are these fools? They proclaim to know me, but I don't even know any of them. Retarded, degenerates, reprobates, scumbags. Because they like to abuse their powers of profession, like I said, and convince themselves that they can live out their free will, and yet violate, as well as try and stop the servants of God even from living out theirs, and how they are in for one nasty, messy, thought-provoking spiritual awakening once it's all said and done. It's a given fact. So let this be a life lesson, people, that God's always on time, and he will punish those involved when they least expect it. And I don't care who you are, you're going to reap what you sow. That is a given fact. And his servants, we, sure as hell, are not going to bail you out of your own shit time and time again. Because like I said, we have our own problems to be dealing with. We don't need anybody else's within our life. Thank you very much, but no thanks. It's a wrap.